Hey friends, join me for some hip opening stretching. Really great after a long day, and if especially the backs of your legs, your hamstrings feel really sore. You won't need any props for this, just a comfortable place to put your knees on the ground. And if you're interested in seeing more from me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you get notified every single time I drop a new class. And now let's get moving. Let's meet in a tabletop. We'll walk the fingertips out to the sides and slightly wide. Bring your knees together to touch and start to drop your hips from side to side. You can think about sitting towards the ground and finding some length through the outer hips. Big breaths. If especially you have a sore low back or just some tight outer hips, this might feel especially nice. And gentle twists in the back as well. All right, good stuff. Regular tabletop, fingertips will face forward, knees about hips width distance apart. Similar idea, we'll cinch from side to side, shoulders towards hip, lengthening one side, shortening the other. And you can think about trying to kind of like pinch a cherry tomato between your rib cage and the top of your hip bone. Or just look over your shoulder. Look over your shoulder, and your body should naturally cinch. Good. Find a few cat-cows, drop the belly, lift the gaze, breathe. And round, tuck the tail, chin to chest. A couple more just like that. Find a neutral spine. Kick your right leg out to the right. Bring the foot flat to the ground in line with the hip, and you'll floss your hips backwards, so you'll sit towards the heel and shift the shoulders forward. I just want you to try that a few times. Get used to the sensation. See if you can grab the ground with your fingertips as your shoulders come forward and use that push to shove your hips back. Try it a few times here. Shifting forward, dig the fingertips into the ground, shift back. Really nice. Or just next time you shift back, you can pause there. You might drop your elbows to the ground, drop your forehead. Couple breaths. Come back up onto your palms, shift your hips slightly forward, and you'll slide your right heel in until you can bend into the knee at a 90-degree angle, and the knee will rotate slightly outward. So think that you drive your thigh slightly back behind you and start to make big circles in your hips. You can start slow and small as you test this out and really let your knee travel around. You're making circles with the hips, and that naturally will translate into the knee circling over top your ankle. And you'll just take that the other direction, spin it around. Nice. Next time you're towards your right heel, go ahead and sit towards it and then walk your hands in towards you and try to lift your chest up a bit. If you can, sit deeper towards the right heel. Maybe prop one elbow onto the thigh, the other hand onto your thigh, and keep your chest up. Sit deep. 2 more breaths. Hands back down to the ground. You'll extend your right leg straight out one more time. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then as if you're gonna land your right shoulder to the ground, you'll thread your right arm underneath your left arm. Reach as far as you can, but don't drop the shoulder as if you were going to. Inhale, sweep the right arm up towards the ceiling. You'll exhale, weave it underneath your left arm. One more like that. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, weave it underneath. Pause here. Good, and then plant the right hand down underneath the shoulder, kick your right leg straight back behind you, land the ball of the foot to the floor, pedal the heel back until you feel a calf stretch. If you've got socks on and your foot's sliding, you just might not get the tension that you need, so make sure that you can find some stickiness here with your foot against the floor. Really good. Kickstand your left shin back behind you and then drop your right heel towards the floor. You'll open up your right arm towards the ceiling and find this modified side plank variation. Take the top arm, paint it all the way overhead, and think that you could arch your rib cage up towards the ceiling and that you're holding like a 5-pound weight in your right fist. Think that that arm drops down. Press down through the outer edge of your right foot and feel that length through the right side. The top arm will sweep down in front of you, all the way back behind you. Circle your chest up to the ceiling as the arm sweeps back. Sweep the arm overhead and circle your chest down. So just big arm circles and let it translate a little bit into your chest. Good. Next time the arm is overhead, you'll go the other direction. So start by going back, then down in front, overhead. Couple more here. Really good. Land the right hand to the ground underneath the shoulder. Bring both shins underneath you for tabletop, and then you'll tuck your toes, zip your knees together to touch, and then sit back over top of your tucked toes. If this is really hard for you, let your shoulders come forward and you just work on getting your chest more upright. If you have some space, tuck your toes in even more using your hands and take a moment, just sit here. You can do some things with your hands, interlace them in front of you, circle through your wrists so that you can distract from whatever sensation's happening in your feet. Go the other direction with your hands. We'll take a couple breaths with interlaced fingers here. Palms will flip up towards the ceiling. You can keep a soft bend in your elbows if you'd like. Lift your heart, arch your spine. And then as you exhale, you'll sweep the arms out in front of you. Keep the palms facing forward, chin to chest, round. 2 more like that. Inhale and arch, lift up. Exhale, round. Good. Reach up, inhale. Reach forward, exhale. Really nice. Release the hands. You'll lift up the knees, but keep the toes tucked and take a little hover here. You might use your hands on the ground to keep you supported or start to walk your hands up onto your thighs. Think that as your knees shift forward, your shoulders shift back so that you come into a toe stand. It might get a little tricky. See what you can work with. If there's something out in front of you you can stare at, it might help with your balance. Good. Try to land your knees to the ground without your hands. If you lose your balance like I did, no worries. Untuck the toes, sit over top the tops of the feet, squeeze the knees together. Hands might support you back behind you, or you can challenge yourself, no hands, lift the shins a little bit. Really good. Drop the knees down, find your tabletop, take a couple cat-cows, just drop the belly, arch the spine. Look up, tail up. And as you round the spine, it'll be chin in, tail under. 2 more here. Good. Neutralize your spine. Extend your left leg out to the left in line with the hip. Try to flatten the foot down onto the floor and you'll floss back and forward. Nice and simple to take the temperature of this leg. Good. Now, as you start to shift forward, dig your fingertips into the ground and use the push of the fingers to drive your hips back. So you're working a little bit more in your hands and your forearms. Next time you shift back, you can stay back and know that if there's anything happening in your knee, you don't have to shift that far back. You go to the place that works. You can always keep your chest more lifted and kind of stay out of the compression of the knee. But if your knee feels fine, go ahead and drop your elbows. Good. Walk your palms back to the ground and we'll slide the left heel in until you bend the knee at a 90-degree angle. Think that you push the thigh back behind you so you start to engage the muscles of your hip and spin your hips around into a circle. So you're still keeping that feeling of slightly pushing the thigh backwards as you spin around. Big circles, knee and hips. Good. Keep trying to sit low towards the left heel because you know that's where we're going to go soon. Go the other direction. Good. All right, we'll pause, shift your hips towards the left heel. You can totally kickstand your right foot in underneath you a little bit to help with this. Walk your hands in and try to lift your chest up. Get to the place that works for you today, hands or elbows to your thighs. Lift your chest up a little bit more so we use the weight of the torso down into the hips to open them up. Really nice. Walk the hands back to the ground, shift the hips forward. We'll re-extend the left leg straight and make sure your right shin is kind of straight underneath you. Left arm peels up to the ceiling, breathe in, and then you'll thread the left arm underneath the right arm, reach as far as you can and look towards the left fingertips. Inhale, sweep the left arm back up. Exhale, sweep it underneath the right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach underneath and pause. Take a moment. Stay here. Good. Left hand underneath the shoulders. Sweep the left leg straight back behind you and you'll drop the ball of the foot down. Press the heel backward until you feel the calf stretch. And the stickiness is helpful. You might shift a little bit forward and back if you like the pedaling kind of motion here. If you just have really tight calves, hang out in it. Shift your shoulders a little forward, kickstand the right shin back behind you and drop the left heel to the floor, peel the left arm open for the modified side plank. Take the top arm, paint it overhead, arch the ribs up, and then image in your mind you're holding on to some kind of weight overhead, and that helps you drip your left wrist lower as you arch your left ribs higher. Press the knife edge of your foot down, squeeze your tail, or rather tuck your tail and squeeze the muscles on your left leg. Good. That top arm's going to start to circle down in front of you, back behind you, and you'll take these arm circles, rotating your chest a little bit as the arm spins through space. Good. Spin it the other way. Beautiful. That top arm will come down to the ground. Tuck both shins underneath you. Zip the legs together. And this time we'll tuck the toes and come immediately up into that little toe balance, that hovering knees, hovering shins. Hands can stay on the ground for a moment as you catch your balance. As you're ready, start to lean the shoulders back, shift the knees forward. And they happen together so that you can stay in balance. Beautiful. Use your hands on the ground and start to sit backwards. You'll sit towards the back of your space behind your heels. And then I want you to try to open your knees wide while you keep the inner edge of your foot reaching towards the ground. It might not necessarily touch the ground, but you're trying to mount the ball of your foot to the floor. So from here, with this widening in the knees, lift your butt up and then start to reach forward. Keep the knees wide and then try to lift the chest up to come into a wide-kneed toe stand. All right, so we're going to shift back to our bum one more time. You might not use your hands. You might instead reach forward, drip your butt to the floor, and then find yourself into that seat. And then the same idea as we come forward. You reach forward, lift your butt up. You can use your hands out in front of you or your hands back behind you. Try to get your chest up. Gorgeous. You're going to try it a couple more times. And again, you could use your hands the whole time, one hand then the other, butt to the floor, one hand in front, one hand in back, butt back up. Cool. Try to find your challenge here. Really nice. All right, we're gonna find a squat. So step your feet wide, get your butt as low as you can. Your elbows can start on your thighs. If you're comfortable being in the depth of your squat, your elbows can find a little bit lower on your inner thighs, or they can be up a little bit higher if you kind of need something to prop yourself up on. And I just want you to wiggle a little bit, so shift some weight from foot to foot. Don't be afraid to let your heels lift and move around. And if your heels aren't fully grounded, we won't worry about that too much right now. Really good. Go ahead and ground your butt to the floor. Extend your left leg straight and tuck the right foot in towards your hips. Send both arms up towards the ceiling, and then you'll land your hands onto your hips. So think that you square your chest towards your left leg and lean over your left leg as if your heart, your sternum, the center of your chest is reaching for the top of the foot. So it's this little feeling of reaching forward and up, and then come to stand back up. Bring the chest forward over the leg, drive the heel down into the ground, kick to come back up. Try that again. Come forward, even if it's only 1 or 2 inches, kick into the left leg, come back up. Good, 3 more. And the kick is small. Last one here. Good. This time you'll come forward, fold as much as is available to you, hands, elbows, or maybe even your forehead drops towards your leg. Good. Walk yourself up, swing the hands to the ground behind you, and then you'll bring your knees together into a boat pose. Hands can stay back for some support. If you're looking for a little bit of extra spice, you might sweep your arms out in front of you and try a balance on your bum in this boat shape. Even more challenge will be to lift the heels up into the line with the knees while you draw the knees towards your chest and stay seated nice and tall. Wherever you are, right, you could do that with your hands on the ground as well. Knees together, heels lifted, chest up. Same feeling in either place. Really nice. Take another breath here. Exhale, zip it in closer. One more like that. Good. Right leg goes straight, left foot comes towards the right inner thigh. Hands up towards the ceiling, take a breath in. Hands to your hips, square your chest towards your right leg and start to pitch your chest forward and lean a little bit forward and then come to a tall seat again. Lean forward, kick your right heel down, come into a tall seat. Good, and that's the movement, coming forward and then back up 3 more times. Really nice. Go ahead and fold forward over the leg. Know that one leg might be vastly different than the other, and that's okay. Come back up into a seat. We'll find one more supported boat. If you'd like to, you can take your boat balance with your hands reaching forward. Lift your chest up. Maybe start to extend your legs a little bit straighter if you're up for the challenge. Balancing on your tailbone. 2 more breaths. In, out. Good. 1 more. Nice. Land your feet to the floor and your hands back behind you. Press your hips up for a reverse tabletop. Tuck the tail, squeeze the butt. Find a little bit more lift in your chest. Really nice. Sit your butt down, take your right ankle, cross it over top your left thigh. Press your right thigh away. You can walk your hands in, maybe even lift your butt and scoot it in towards the heel, compressing all of the points of contact on the ground, so everything is just a little bit shorter. Good. And we'll take it to the other side, so you can walk the hands back, lean back, unhook. Same idea here. Try and lift your butt up so you can really sit on kind of the pointy part of your butt. Press your left thigh away. Good. Go ahead and lean back, unhook the leg. You can take a few moments to do any final stretches, but that's it for our time together. Great work, and thanks for moving with me. I'll see you soon.